Hello, Professor. This is Brian Hartnett with my Middle East analysis. In my analysis, I have chosen to recite a poem for the poet Hafez, no last name. With the no last name, that is due to this specific poet and poem that I chose, coming from a time period where poets initially didn't go by their last names or didn't report last names or last names weren't big on titles as I've taken a look into it. So looking, I wasn't able to initially find a last name. The poet was just labeled Hafez, but for the specific poem, it definitely resonated with me. So I did want to recite it. From the very first sentence, my father, who is also of Haitian descent, is always telling me initially when you meet an individual, their representative is meeting your representative. No one is kind of initially introducing themselves at face value, so you kind of meet the nice initial person, and then a long time it kind of shows you the real individual. So from the very first sentence of this poem, again, it resonated with me. I have always been kind of in admiration for how individuals within those Middle Eastern countries, of the history, the rich history of kings and queens and rulings, and how things were built, and the architecture, and just a whole plethora of different things there are to admire about the Middle East. With the poem, I wanted to kind of centralize my focus on poems that are a part of Middle Eastern modern day culture, whether it be a saying, a phrase, a lifestyle, or whatever, just, something that resonates with the culture from the past, but is still being used and implemented in present day. So, Hafez stated, "Why just ask the donkey in me to speak to the donkey in you? When have so many other beautiful animals and brilliant colored birds inside that are longing to say something wonderful and exciting to your heart? Let's open all the locked doors upon our eyes that keep us from knowing the intelligence that begets love and more lively and satisfying conversations with the friend. Let's turn loose our golden falcons so that they can meet in the sky where our spirits belong, nicking like two hot kids." Excuse me. "Let's hold hands and get drunk near the sun and sing sweet songs to God until he joins us with a few notes from our own sublime lute and drum." If you have a better idea of how to pass a lonely night after your glands, and again, most of the poem, some of it isn't translated in English, so phrasing. "Until he joins us with a few notes from his own sublime and lute drum." If you have a better idea of how to pass a lonely night after your glands may have performed all their little magic, then speak up, sweethearts, speak up, for Hafez and all other of the world will listen. Why just bring your donkey to me, asking for stale hay and boring conference with the idiot in regards to the precious matter, such as precious matter of love? When have so many other divine animals and brilliant colored birds inside that are all longing to sweet and sweetly greet you. From the poem, I definitely believe the first sentence was what gravitated me towards it. Why just ask the donkey in me to speak to the donkey in you? There are so many things out in the world that, and so many negative things out in the world that, why just not show love? Why just not be compassionate? Why just not? And I know it's very hard in a world of where things are not so nice, and we definitely have to be realistic. But within the poem, just also reciting, hey, you know, if you have a better idea of something that can be as sweet as love, as sweet as compassion, as sweet as, whatever, if you have any other belief that you can bring inner peace or outer peace, then state it, do it. But essentially, love is the key to peace. You have to have love in your heart and spread love.